Hello everyone, Fisgus here. I wanted to make a tutorial on the AGM-65 Maverick. For this demonstration, I have one pair of Golf model Mavericks. How do we employ this weapon? While using the power of active pause, I'm going to go ahead to air-ground mode, and I'm going to hit power on. The weapon is now powering on. The process takes around 3 minutes, and while it does its thing, I'm going to talk about the weapon a little bit. Powering on the Maverick, unlike the JDAM, which I recommend that you power them on while you're in the ground, JDAM, JCell, small diameter bombs, I recommend you power them on the ground. The Maverick, not so much, unless the target is very close to wherever you're taking off from, because the Maverick's battery lifetime, once you power them on, they have a battery lifetime of 60 minutes. And this is without enabling the seeker head. When you then enable the seeker head, its power gets cut in half to 30 minutes. So what I would recommend is that if you are carrying the Maverick, power them on once you reach or once you're on the vicinity of the target area in which you intend to use them. Do not power them on while on the ground. You run the risk of if the flight is even relatively long, that when you get to the target area, the weapon will be a dud in your wing. Useful only for jettisoning in it. While the Maverick is powering on, I'm going to go ahead and switch this page to a weapon. The weapon is still powering on. Talk about the modes. So pre is basically the Maverick will look at whatever steer point you have selected here or the TGP after you've boresighted the Maverick to the TGP, but I will cover that later. So if on pre, it looks at the steer point you have selected, and then you can fine tune the targeting solution with the radar cursor. VIS is basically puts a square on your heads-up display, and you will be able to see image moving around on the weapon page. You can move the square with your radar cursor onto the rough area of where you think the target is, or where you see the target at. You TMS up once to ground stabilize, and then you will see a circle. And since this is now powered on, I will demonstrate this. One thing as well, we're here. If master arm is off, no video will show on here. The way to have video showing is either go master arm simulate, or intending on shooting, master arm on. Now, TMS up once to ground stabilize, and then fine tune the targeting with that little circle by going over the specific target and TMS up again. And then also we have bore. Bore basically is having the aircraft guiding the seeker head, basically the nose of the aircraft. as you can see here on the heads-up display, the square. Point the nose of the aircraft wherever you intend on having the cursor looking at. You TMS once to ground stabilize, and then again you then fine tune and TMS up once more to lock up a target. But I have out in front of me the gentleman in the supply unit. So I will, again, using the power of active pause, I will try to go ahead and lock them up, lock the gentleman up. So go to VIS, moving around the square. I know they're in front, out in front of the nose. There's the power station, and here they are. Set that as soy. I'm going to magnify, use the expand function once. I will lock up the trailing guy. Okay, it is locked. How to shoot them and what are the limitations? So it has a range of roughly 10 miles, give or take, considering speed and altitude, obviously. But you can expect right around 10 miles. And the solution and the position you need to have the weapon relative to the target is quite narrow. So it is what is commonly called as the keyhole, which is, imagine a smaller square inside this MFD that goes kind of like what I'm doing with my mouse. So it goes kind of like this, and this plus sign or this cross needs to be steady. It cannot be blinking. If it's blinking, that means the weapon will most likely miss, and sometimes it won't even come off the aircraft. So I have that. If I was to shoot here, if I wasn't on active pause, this would be a valid shot. I will try to unpause, engage this target, and also do a second target. So try to do 2 shots per pass. So here it is. Cross is steady. Rifle. Wait for the other missile is queued up. Lock up a new target. Now the cross is blinking. I need to refine that, so I'm going to lower the nose slightly. I'm going to steady this up. Cross is steady. Rifle. And now we can perform whatever evasive actions we need to.
Caution.
Now the Maverick is fire and forget, and it can be used quite well against moving targets. Once you shoot it, it's not like the GBU-12 where you need to keep lasing, keep it visual until it impacts. Once the Maverick is in the air, you can do whatever you need to do, but it is a completely fire and forget weapon. Now we have 2 Mavericks in the air. The Maverick takes a little time to get to the target. There is 1 impact, and there's the second impact. Okay, so that's 2 targets hit in VIS mode. Now I will go ahead and demonstrate the boresighting of the weapon to then use the TGP to slew around the Maverick. So I'm going to reload this mission and I will be back in a second. And we are back. Now we've reloaded the mission. I'm going to go ahead and get to the weapon page because I've already powered these on. Near steer point 6, I have this power plant or factory. and I will use this to boresight the Mavericks. Now, this is a procedure, and it needs to be done on both stations one at a time. With the TGP selected, I will go for the let's say the left chimney. Try to get track on that chimney. Point track. Okay, the factory itself will do, or that stack looks like the stack there. Now with the whatever target you select on a point track, we're gonna go on to the Maverick seeker head. Look at the exact same place, and we're gonna TMS up once. Now this is gonna look all like trembly, but if you feel that these two images are pointing at the same place, once you've TMS'd up on the Mavericks seeker head page, you're gonna hit this BSGT or boresight. So we click that. That is now boresighted. I'm gonna go ahead to the other page while keeping that same position or target or building or even vehicle. You can do these on moving vehicles if you really want to. While keeping that locked, I'm going to do the same for this station. EMS up. Looks good. Boresight. Now they are both looking at the same target. If I point track the Maverick, or the TGP rather, if I manage to get a point track, it should put the Mavericks looking at the target that I'm looking at in the TGP. Let's try to get these trucks again. And there it is. So again, to recap, first of all, with the TGP, after the Mavericks are powered on, lock up an individual target, go to the Maverick seeker head, and hit a boresight. And then, something I think I forgot, you need to TMS down once, only once, while the weapon page is soy. You need to then do it for the other station and hit boresight again. Once that's done, again you need to TMS down, or if you do not TMS down, the weapon will not follow the TGP. When you then slew the TGP onto a different target, it will remain locked to that target that you selected, whatever it is. So here we go. Now the weapons are now boresighted. I'm going to get off of active pause here in a second. One thing to keep in mind also is that what we discussed earlier about this cross, the square, and the keyhole situation, this is still applicable. Even if you are selecting your targets with the TGP, you need to then have a look at the weapon page to make sure that this is a valid shot. Now I am going to again unpause and engage two targets with my Mavericks while selecting the targets with the TGP. Get off active pause. This is a valid shot. Rifle. select a new target, TMS up, weapon picks up the target. This is not a valid shot, so I'm going to refine. I'm going to put the nose down a little bit. Solid cross, rifle. Again, keep in mind that the
Caution.
to shoot the Maverick on this mode, the weapon page does not need to be necessarily on set as soy. Only the TGP needs to be set as soy. What you need to keep in mind is that cross to make sure that it is not blinking. If it is not blinking, even if the weapon page is not soy, you can still take the shot, and if all the parameters are correct, if you configured the weapon correctly, it should come off the rail. 10 seconds to impact. Here goes one. And the other one has already hit a place back here. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. The Maverick is a weapon that is available to us in BMS. Personally, not my favorite weapon, even to engage ground moving targets. I much prefer either the GBU-12 or the GBU-54. The Maverick is kind of fidgety. Its standoff capability isn't great. I much prefer the GBU-12 or the GBU-54, and the same limitations apply. As in, with the laser guided bomb, you can't shoot if there are clouds in the area, but you can't either with the you can't find targets either with the Maverick if there are clouds obstructing the target. Same limitations apply. The only advantage this weapon has against the versus a laser guided bomb is the fact that it's a fire and forget, and you shoot and you don't need to worry about anything else. But like I said, for me that's not that much of a big deal, but the weapon exists, and it is there if you need to use it on a mission. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful to you. If you have some feedback, as always, please by all means let me know, and I hope this was helpful. I will see you all later.